Welcome to Tales for Tots. Today, I'm going to tell you a little secret. I am very scared of thunder. Are you too? Well, to be honest, there is nothing really to be scared about it so long as we know how it happens and how we can take care of ourselves. So, let me tell you a little story that will explain how thunder happens in the clouds. Okay, so let's get started. Once upon a time, there was a little boy called Nimbus. He was a tall, dark, lanky little fellow who lived up high up in the skies where it was always cold and chilly. Now, one day, Nimbus was floating around in the sky and he peered down into the earth below and saw a pool of water that was gleaming and glistening up at him. Suddenly, he felt very thirsty and he pulled up a large straw and began to suck in all the water. Okay, now the water was so warm and tasty that Nimbus began to slurp it all in. As the warm water moved inside his body, it began to get cooler and cooler. The higher it moved up inside his body, the cooler it became. Finally, it turned into ice crystals. Now, Nimbus did not stop there, right? So he began to continue sucking in water. Now, as the warm water that had just entered his body began to brush against these thin crystals of ice, what happened? Nimbus felt something strange happening inside him. He felt a lot of energy flowing inside his body. His head began to puff up. Suddenly he noticed that those ice crystals had turned into little fizzy bubbles that were jumping up and down, like you see on top of your soda water, like that. And the warm water that had entered, they had also formed little bubbles, but those were weak and shrivelly and scraggly little things. But though different, both these bubbles began to move towards each other. There was some attraction working towards them, and they began to move towards each other. And as they did so, Nimbus began to feel a lot of energy inside his body. And when these two bubbles finally met, crack, there was a light, a whole bit of lightning spread across the sky. Nimbus got so scared. He ran towards his friend, the wind. Wind was blowing around him very strongly, and he had also seen what had happened. And he was also very scared. So he dragged Nimbus to hide behind a large mountain because he thought he would be safe there. Nimbus also hid behind the mountain. But as he did so, he noticed that the same fizzy bubbles that he had seen inside him were present on the mountain as well. And the weak ones which were hanging beneath his belly, they had also seen those fizzy bubbles. They gradually began to crawl towards them. And just like before, as the two met, crack! The sky was filled with light. Nimbus got so scared he began to cry, and large drops of water began to pelt the earth as rain. Just then, his father, Nimbus the senior, was floating around him, and he saw what had happened. So he walked up to Nimbus and explained that do not be scared because you know why. Now, I will explain to you. Come and sit beside me. So he told Nimbus that as water droplets move up the cumulonimbus clouds, they freeze into thin bits of ice. These crystals rub against water droplets not once but more than twice. The static electricity makes the crystals take on a positive charge, while the water droplets remain negative by and large. All positives and negatives are opposites that attract. So, negative electrons at the bottom of the cloud hardly defy the fact. They move towards the positive protons above mountains, hills, and poles. As soon as they meet, the world sees a bright lightning bolt. The heat generated makes the air expand and contract. Light before sound. That has always been the pact. As the wind contracts, it creates thunder that echoes through the skies to complete the final act. So, now that you know how thunder is formed, I am sure you will not be so scared. But do remember, whenever you see thunder, move inside a shelter and do not stand beneath a tree or a pole or a mountain or a hill. You know why, right? Okay, so hope you liked my story and do comment, like, subscribe so that you can keep receiving more and more such stories. Let me know how you liked it. What are your thoughts? I'm waiting to hear back from you. Till next time, goodbye from Tales for Tots.